Hey, what's going on? It's Matt, and I am here with a gentleman that I just met at the Shirt Lab in St. Louis. Mark
Coudray.
Coudray. I didn't want to butcher the last name. So, Mark, you're with. I guess tell them about yourself first, because then I want to ask you a question because you hit something, the nail on the head earlier.
Right. So, the presentation I did here today was on Profit First, which is a cash flow management program for individuals and businesses. My business overall, I help frustrated and discouraged business owners to quickly fix their business, improving their growth, profit, and cash flow.
Okay, so the conversation we had earlier, we were talking about marketing and how if businesses understood if they put $1 in, it got 10 back.
Right.
And you said, well, Matt, when they figure out you give me $1, I gave you 10 back, what do you give me next? And you even stumped me. So tell that story.
Yeah, so I always ask people, the first thing they do is they hit you up with, well, how much does it cost to work with you? And I'm always put off by that question. So I came up with this concept of saying, well, it's pretty easy. If you work with me, for every $1 that you give me, I'm going to give you $10 of new revenue back. And they go, that's pretty impressive. And then the next question I'll ask them is, how many times do you want to do that with me? And they always say, well, I'll do that all day long. And my next question, the follow-on to that is, well, what happens when you get tired of giving me $1 bills? And 100% of the people at that point are completely stumped.
I was stumped.
I get the deer in the headlights look, and then I say to them, what have I been handing you back? And they say $10 bills. And then it goes off like that in their mind. Well, how about if I give you a 10? Well, I'll give you 100 back. And in that 30-second discussion, it completely changes the paradigm of how they look at working with you. If you truly have a product that you can substantiate and deliver those kinds of returns, and it takes thought and effort to be able to do that, but when you do it, the next question is, what's the most expensive product that you can have, that you sell, that I can buy? Because they know that everything I do has at least a 10-to-1 return, and sometimes as high as 40-to-1. So depending on how much risk tolerance that they have and how much fear of the future and those kinds of things, I start them off at 10-to-1, but then we go up from there. And once they start doing it, it's amazing to watch their businesses and the results of that kind of a change in their business and what it does from them moving forward.
And you're in the financial sector of it. One of the things
I'm in all sectors.
All sectors. I mean, I guess a lot of what you talked about today deals with the finances of a business. In my world, in the marketing world,
right.
Businesses are not accustomed. They don't know what their acquisition costs. Like I was actually talking to a company recently, right. And I said, hey, I know the answer to this. Maybe you do and maybe you don't, but what does it cost you every time you acquire a customer? Like, right. Matt, we have no clue. If we knew that, right. We could multiply it and keep getting right. More customers. And I said, so what happens with what I do, I've got a dashboard I'm going to show you after this that's called the ROI dashboard, that it shows our clients the awareness they gain, the database they grow, the sales from the database, and then if you take care of that customer and you nurture that relationship, here's the annual and lifetime.
Right.
And businesses, especially restaurants, struggle with that because they're accustomed to buying advertising from a radio station. Here's $4,000. I supposedly get some commercials out there and people hear it.
And nothing happens.
Yeah, nothing happens. And when I show them, hey, you give us $1,000, and it's going to pretty easily generate $3,000 to $4,000 every month.
Right.
And you just spent that money to acquire a customer that you don't have to pay for anymore.
Right.
That it's free. So it's always a conversation that it's not that they're not comfortable with, it's they're not accustomed to having.
Right. There's so much about this. We went through, in my business, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I started my first company when I was 19, 46 years ago. And I've always done things where money was tight, and I had to make sure that it paid off. It had to give me a return.
Had to get an ROI.
And in today's world, we live in a world of marketing accountability. And I absolutely love the fact that people are being held accountable for their marketing. The two most powerful things that I've found in the last several years are Profit First to manage cash flow and Story Brand to manage the story. Okay. Which is Donald Miller's program. It's fantastic in terms of clarifying your message and getting down to the message that connects with your marketplace. Okay. It's fantastic. And between the combination of those what happens is businesses start generating more business. And when they start generating more business, it impacts their cash flow because now they've got to manage cash and grow the business and convert that cash to accounts receivable, and it can be a difficult situation. So the model that I built over the years is a 3-point model that's based on the actual service delivery of whatever the client is that's doing it, whether it's a restaurant or whether it's a manufacturer or whether it's a t-shirt printer or whatever it is. They make a product or a service. That's one part. The sales and marketing is what drive businesses, that keeps the production side busy, and the financial admin side is what manages the standard operating practices and the cash flow and the finance side. You need all three of those in order to make the business grow and to work properly. As soon as one of those goes out of balance, things stall and you stop growing.
Yeah, and in the near future, I'm going to corner him and get him on a live webinar.
Oh yeah, it'd be great.
Because I know, for 10 years, we don't know each other that well. You was met today. 10 years of my existence, my dad who's watching now. What's up, Dad? Love you, brother. And probably my mom's watching. It means if he's watching. And we had an RV dealership that went from 0 to 15 million in sales in 4 years.
Right.
And it was a cash flow nightmare. It was robbing Peter to pay Paul, making poor business decisions just to pay the bills, to make payroll,
reactionary decisions.
And so I think that there's an opportunity to really do have a conversation and talk, because the restaurant business is just like that. And I deal with a lot of restaurants, have a lot of restaurant following. I think we could probably have a conversation to inform restaurants on, hey, here's how you can structure your business better. Because I hear exactly what you said earlier, and it's in the live video if you want to watch this back, they don't take paychecks.
Right.
And that's a problem. If you're working your ass off, you need to be paid, the profit needs to be paid, and the business needs to run off of what's left.
Yeah, and I think the thing that I've discovered out of going through the Profit First program for my own company, and then now working with clients all over the country that are doing it, and it's a movement. I mean, this stuff is really starting as a wave. It's just really beginning to take off. But for a small business, if you're in a small business, anybody less than 25 million in annual revenues, this is something you absolutely need to look at, because it will change the way you think about your business. And I would love to collaborate with you, because the stuff that I'm doing works for every industry. I've done it for the call center industry, the t-shirt industry, which is the industry that I started in, steel processing, manufacturing, insurance, just a whole broad range of different types of businesses. And restaurant business is no different.
Yeah.
They work harder than just about anybody I know. They're constantly 7 days a week, and they're on extended hours, and there's just no profitability in it. They need to look at their business model differently. And between the combination of the social media and the Facebook stuff that you do, as well as realizing that their customer base, they need to get that customer base into a database and be able to connect with their customers. And all of that stuff there's a huge opportunity now for business owners in that space. That's just, I'm surprised nobody's done it yet, honestly, at this point.
I agree. Well, hey, stay tuned. I appreciate your time.
All right.
We'll be back soon. Maybe I'll get him on my live event I'm having in 3 weeks, or 2 weeks. 2 weeks on the 29th, 30th, 31st. I'm going live for 3 days in a row.
Awesome.
I've got 16 to 20 people coming. Maybe we'll get you in there and have a conversation.
Awesome.
See you
very
at Facebook.
much.